to another edition of Fire Up Wisconsin and Fire Up Michigan, because guess what? We are previewing my Green Bay Packers and Jeremy's Detroit Lions. Hello, Mr. Jeremy. How are you today?
Let me clean it up real quick. Fantastic.
I suppose we should start out by saying Happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's out there.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, to you and yours, your family, and everyone else. And also, I want to say rest in peace to former Detroit Lions or Detroit Tigers reliever Willie Hernandez, who had one excellent season and was a big part on why they won in 1984, and the way the fans turned on him when things went sour, when the offense started to fail and everything else going forward. It was a travesty how fans treated him. Rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace. Okay, well, there's football today. Thanksgiving is known for football, right?
Yeah. Roy.
Now, the Detroit Lions for many years were a team people had to watch on Thanksgiving because they were so bad that they were one of the teams that were given the slot on Thanksgiving because not many teams wanted it for many years.
To be honest, what happened back in 1934 when the radio and conglomerates of the time, because there wasn't TV yet,
okay,
they bought the Lions, and the Ford family was a part of it then too. It just got handed down to William Clay Ford, and he bought it separately from the group later on. But they decided that they wanted to do the Thanksgiving Day game. And they approached the NFL, and he goes, yeah, no one else wants it, and we want to compete with the college rivalry week. So go ahead. So 29 years later, Dallas Cowboys buy in, because God forbid that we get to be America's team.
Yes.
Can't outdo them.
No, and now it's become more of a premier time slot. Like everybody wants Thanksgiving, and the NFL has said, well, Detroit had it when nobody else wanted it. They're going to keep it. So good for you guys, like for stepping up to the plate. And, that's one thing we can always say. I can watch Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving.
And occasionally we play somebody within the division.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a little success there. In 2011, we beat the Packers on Thanksgiving. And in 2016, we beat Minnesota. I mean, granted, it was a kicking duel, but we still won.
That's true. So today is Packers versus Lions. So I have to tell you, Jeremy, I was trying to think, what jersey do I wear today? Because I have a couple different Packer jerseys. And I'm like, I could do the most recent. You could see in the background, number 12, Aaron Rodgers. But he just up and left. And obviously playing for the Jets, but injured. So he's injured now. Then I could have put the other one on, which you see in my background, which is number 4, which is Brett Favre. And I'm like, well, he's a little controversial right now because he's done some things in his past that a lot of us are not happy about or proud of. But I had to go with the first one, number 15. It's Bart Starr's jersey. So
the only one that won you 2 Super Bowls. Let's get it right.
He did. He did. So I'm hoping for a victory today, and I know it's going to be tough. But I'm like, let's put on Bart Starr. Let's give it some little more good luck there. And whose jersey are you wearing today?
Aiden Hutchinson, the guy that had 2 sacks the last time we played you guys.
You guys had our number last time, that's for sure. You guys are having an awesome season this year.
We've kind of had your numbers for 793 days now.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time you guys won, was September 20th, 2021. The first game that Dan Campbell met up with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. And yes, you carved us a new bunghole that day, to be politically correct. Mm-hmm. But ever since then, it's been a grueling battle. It's been low scoring until this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year...
you've had your number for years. But then again, right, we've had 2 really good Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back. And the downfall this last year, or I would say the last year, is Aaron Rodgers didn't have the same weapons, and they were injured, some of it, and so he wasn't happy. Let's face it. The downfall of him was the start of when we drafted his predecessor, who is now Jordan Love, and he was pissed because we didn't go out and get more receivers for him because he thought he had a good team and wanted more receivers to complement him to get him to the next Super Bowl. And so he got pissed, and whatever you want to say, if you think he played his all and gave it his all the time, but they just weren't as healthy. And so you guys have had our number for a number of games, yes. And now here we are, enter Jordan Love era. Rookie quarterback with rookie receivers.
Inexperienced quarterback. He's not really a rookie. This is his fourth year. He played in 3 games. One he actually started. He did quite well versus Philadelphia last year. No matter is it just what I'm saying. But he's a mid-level quarterback. He's not good. He's not great. He's just okay. And when you got young, inexperienced wide receivers and a plethora of injuries between the backfield and the O-line, it's not a good combination. And it makes him look worse than he really is. We don't know what Jordan Love is. And you won't know until he's played 3 seasons. And I mean actually played 3 seasons of games.
Right.
He's kind of had the JMO treatment without being injured.
Well, and let's face it, Aaron Rodgers didn't have a good year last year either.
No. And he had to came in a couple of times for Rodgers. I mean, was it 2 years ago when you guys were winning the division? And they said, oh, we rested him the year before and the Lions beat us, so we got to kind of play him this year. We're going to let him play out. And he had 12 QB hits and 4 sacks by halftime, and they were like, yeah, you're not going back out there. Go out there, Jordan. Have fun. Do you remember that, right? And Jordan Love actually got you guys back in the game, but it just wasn't enough. And I try to remind Packer fans that tell me that Green Bay is going to beat the snot out of us, because I was like, wait a minute. You guys couldn't do it with Aaron Rodgers. What makes you think you're going to do it with an inexperienced mid-level quarterback?
Right.
Last year, it was probably the worst offensive. Last week was probably the worst offensive start for Detroit all season, other than the Ravens game. If anything could go wrong, it did. We couldn't get the run game going through the first half. A plethora of pressure on Jared Goff, which is uncharacteristic of our own line, was on him. And he made 2 key mistakes in that situation. And then he just blindly threw a pass, looking at his receiver, not even seeing the middle linebacker standing 3 yards in front of him. So I still say that Coach Brunell walked him into the injury tent, flashed him with the MIB flashy thingy, and said, we're down by 12. Go win the game. Because he needed no memory. And yes, they did activate James Robinson III. Big Dan Davis commented, Green Bay will be without Aaron Jones. AJ Dillon is questionable. They activated James Robinson III yesterday, and he is probably going to be the backup to AJ Dillon, because AJ Dillon's been on the team and knows the playbook, whereas James Robinson's only been there about 5 days now. Yeah. So he's still learning the playbook, but he will be the change of pace back, because AJ Dillon is more of a power back and he's a speed back and more of the receiver like Aaron Jones was. But I don't know if you can expect a lot out of him in his first game in action with only a few days of the playbook.
I don't know either, but running back isn't the same as routes as like a wide receiver, though.
No. I'm saying you can expect something, but you don't know what to expect. Right. The other thing is Luke Musgraves just went to the IR and the third running back that was supposed to play today just hit the IR as well, the Emmanuel Wilson. So they've got a plethora of injuries. David Bakhtiari, of course, has been out. Darnell Savage is out. Jair Alexander is playing, but he's not 100%. Aaron Jones is out. There was another lineman that was called out.
Our injury list is longer than our normal starters
This
are.
is the first time we can say, hey, Jonah Jackson's out and we had to make a bunch of healthy scratches. Woohoo!
It's true. It's true.
I could look at this and go, hey, I'll take it. It's probably the least injured out of our active roster going into a game all season. I'll take it.
I get it. I get it. So let's see. Let's just say the Lions offense is second in the league. Packers is 21st. Passing yards, you guys are fourth. We're 19th. You guys are fifth in rushing yards. We're 21st. Points, you're sixth. We're tied for 20th. Third down percentage is the only spot we're actually better than you guys, which surprises me. We're eighth and you guys are 11th. But you guys don't get to many third downs.
Right. We're either hitting home runs or we're getting stopped.
Right.
There's
right. Your defense. Or,
they
go ahead.
already
Let's talk about offense a little bit.
Go ahead. Go to defense. I'm sorry. I just was looking at the chat because he started asking questions about Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed. As far as I know, they're playing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So as far as defense, you guys in total yards are 10th. We're 16th. Passing yards, we're 7th. You guys are 16th. Rushing yards, you guys are 5th. We're 28th. Points, we're 10th. You're 22nd. Third down percentage, you guys are 7th, and we're tied for 17th. Your home record is 4-1. Our away record is 1-4. It's Thanksgiving Day. As much as I love my Packers and I want them to win, and let's face it, the one thing I will say about teams in the NFC North is I think we play each other, no matter what kind of season we're having, we typically play each other well. I hate to say this, like you guys last week, you guys kind of played to your competition. Like you played Chicago. Chicago isn't doing very well, but you still won.
Yeah, I mean, for 56 minutes, they were the better team. That's all I got to say about it. I mean, what can you say? The last 4 minutes and 36 seconds, Detroit looked like a Super Bowl winner.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like they were up again. It was 0-0 and it was coming down to crunch time. And all of a sudden they said, oh, hey, we woke up. We got a game to play. And scored 17.
It's crazy.
Anyway, I've never seen that out of any team. And to let you know how historic a collapse that is, people, for those that didn't read the article, for those that haven't watched, since 1932, 48 other teams have had a +3 turnover differential, 40 minutes of time of possession and a double-digit lead. And none of them have lost until the Chicago Bears on the 49th time. That's how epic of a loss that was. And then on top of that, 84 teams have had a double-digit lead this season, and the Bears are the only one to lose it in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's historic and epic on two different levels.
Oh yeah.
And it's less about how great that game was for Detroit and more about how bad of a loss that was for the Bears and the coaching staff. Rumor is, from what I just heard from a bunch of Bear fans, is that not only will Eberflus be Eberflus, let me say it right. I got to be nice. I'm on a regular program, not my program. Eberflus and Ryan Poles will both be fired in the offseason. And that leans me toward what I said at the beginning of the season when all the stuff about Harbaugh started coming out. If there's any sanctions by the NCAA that suspends Harbaugh for the year next year, he'll be the Chicago Bears head coach, and he's going to say, I want to be the GM too, because that's what he wants is total control.
Mm-hmm. You think he's going to make that move?
If he's suspended for the year, absolutely.
You think he'll be suspended?
There's a good chance of it. More stuff is coming out every day. That's all I got to say about that.
I understand. So tell us a little bit about Dan Campbell. He's done really well for you guys.
Dan Campbell is a Wayne Fontes type of coach. And when his first couple press conferences prior to the season, everybody just thought he was a meathead cornball that could make players want to play for him. And as the year progressed, it started to look like that in year one when we went 3-13-1 and we had a horrible year. And then year two happens and it starts out kind of the same way. And, the grumblings of, oh my God, we need to fire Campbell. We need to fire everybody and start over and blah, blah, blah. They fire the defensive game planner, and the switch flips. Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels do the curse lifting ceremony that same week, and T.J. Hawkinson, or as we in Detroit like to call him, T.J. Droppinson, was traded to the Vikings. And all of a sudden, we go on this epic 8-2 run, and we miss the playoffs because we lost a bad game versus the Panthers. Now, equipment manager failed and didn't have the right cleats on, whatever, and the disparity between the first half and the second half is plain to see, because we gave up 250 yards in the first half rushing. We give up 60 in the second half. Oh my God, they can tackle all of a sudden. They've been doing that all season, people. It's because they wore the right cleats finally.
Amazing how the right cleats make a big difference.
Well, when you play on slit turf at home and you go to an outside field and you don't think you're going to be on slit turf, and it is, and it's humid, it's as slick as an ice skating rink.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So divisional games, you're right. We all play each other tough. Most of the games come down to that less than a touchdown margin, no matter what the point spread is in Vegas. Vegas goes purely off the stats. And statistically, you guys have one of the better pass defenses in the league. We have the best one of the best rushing defenses in the league. And that's the difference. You can be great at the passing defense, but if you can't stop the run, it's a long day usually when you're on the road. And that is where the Packers have struggled immensely. And I addressed that also in my preview. I don't know if you read it, but I said the last 4 straight years they've drafted to help the pass rush and have not gotten any run stuffing guys to set the edge. And that is where I think they've made a Gutekunst has made a fatal flaw in his drafting strategy. Because when you draft the same type of players for both sides of your D-line, what happens? You get pass rushers that over pursue and miss tackles on the outside, and big runs happen then, because then your corners and safeties end up leading in tackles, and that leading in tackles leads to injuries, as we know with the Detroit Lions a lot.
I agree. And I honestly think that our defensive coordinator should go. There's a lot of people that are saying that we should have gotten rid of him a long time ago, but some people have thought we should never even hired him in the first place.
I'm one of them, because we saw Joe Barry's defense right here in Detroit with Jim Schwartz here, and he was the biggest reason why Jim Schwartz was fired. Because he was the defensive coordinator that did that soft umbrella zone he's doing up there for Green Bay right now, which is great for stopping the deep pass, but all the underneath stuff is there, and that's what gets first downs, because the wide receivers and the running backs and the tight ends are all that talented in the NFL.
And that's what wears your guys out too. And then none of them are playing as good because they're all worn out and tired, or they're more injury prone because they're so tired and they're playing that way. I agree. I think
you've got 2 of the better defensive tackles in the league. You get good interior push, and the inside runs don't happen that much. But if you get past Lucas Van Ness or you get past Rashawn Gary on the other side, it's a 7 to 10 yard gain almost every time on the outside runs or the off tackle runs in the NFL, which is the bread and butter of every running back, whether they're a power back or a speed back in the NFL. And if it's a power back, you see stiff arms, you see guys go rolling, and that's why they get hurt. And you guys are playing on turf over cement today instead of that heated, nice padded field you got up there in Lambeau. It might be a long day.
Yeah, it might be.
And I'm not trying to be too homerish. If everything goes right, the Lions should win like 31-17. If you look at the statistically on paper, that's about the right score it should be. If everything goes wrong, the Lions should still win, but it'll be a much closer margin, not cover the spread. It'll be something like 21-17 or 27-21. It's going to be one of those. It's either going to be one or the other. It depends on how one-dimensional the Packers come out and how one-dimensional the Lions play.
I was going to say, because Goff last week against the Bears threw a number of interceptions.
We couldn't get the run game going. They had pressure on us the first half. That was the difference. They cleaned up the pressures, and he looked better throughout the game. But when you get pressure on Goff, and he's not bad at it, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But every QB struggles with pressure eventually.
Exactly. And I don't know that I'd put Goff. He's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's one of the great quarterbacks.
No,
So he
he's
needs
in
that
between
help.
good to great. He's in
Right.
between good to great. He has games where he plays at an elite level. Don't
Mm-hmm.
get me wrong.
Yep.
We've all seen it.
Yep.
We've seen him go 33 of 40 passing for 340 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. But we've also seen the game like yesterday, which is rare, but he did it once before, 4 years before for the Rams. He hasn't had a 3 interception game for the Lions yet. And all the people that says that Goff is trash, I'm sorry, he's not.
He's not trash, but he's not elite either, though. So
No, he's the in between that good to great. You can't call him excellent. You can't call him just good. He's in between
right.
there. He's on the second tier of quarterbacks, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. So Green Bay has their work cut out for them. And one of the things I would also say is part of it, I think Green Bay really, in order for them to have a chance, they need to have a good start. They cannot start out bad. And they have historically this year been starting out games bad.
You've started in the first, you've scored in the first quarter 2 times all season. And guess what? You won one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
You guys both scored in the first quarter for the first time ever versus Pittsburgh. Both teams scored in the first drives. I was like, hallelujah. They scored in the first quarter. The game is not trash.
But I guess it depends on what kind of game you like. Do you like a defensive game or an offensive scoring game? Because if you like defensive, you don't want them scoring in the first half at all. But the Packers lately, I've noticed, especially under Love, have really started out slow. And I don't know if that's all Matt LaFleur.
No, it's not. It's a combination of many things.
Right.
You got a porous O-line right now, which makes it hard for the running game or the passing game to get going, which makes it harder on a mid-level quarterback. Because I put Jordan Love somewhere between the 3rd and 4th tier, because there is a 5th tier, which is absolute trash in the NFL. You know, he's in that 3rd to 4th tier. The average to not quite average. Not bad, not horrible. He's in that area right now because he's inexperienced.
Correct. I really wonder what the difference would be if we had, let's say, 2 veteran receivers. How well he would do. It would be interesting to see how well he would perform then.
I mean, Romeo Doubs is good, but he's been in and out of the lineup. Christian Watson, he's fast as hell. He's been in and out of the alignment and has suspect hands. We've seen it. He's dropped passes he shouldn't.
And he's been injured. Wasn't it a hamstring? And once a wide receiver has a hamstring issue, even if you come back, it's not healed. You really need to let it heal for a while for you to be 100%. He's just not been 100%.
That's any position really where you have to run a lot, whether it's running back, cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver. Those are your running positions, and that's any defensive back, safety or corner. You got to run a lot. Hamstrings take time, even if it's just a strain. But you know, the strain doesn't take as long to heal as the pull. But if you don't let it heal fully before you hit the field, it becomes a pull, and then you miss significant time. And I think it started out as a strain this preseason with Watson. He sat out a couple games, and then they brought him back. I think it was week 3 versus the Falcons, which you guys ended up losing it late, if I remember right.
Yep.
And then we came to your place and mollywopped you.
Yes, you did.
and then he was out another couple of games with the same exact injury, which means he came back too soon.
Exactly. Let's see. I'll pull up his stats so far.
If I remember right, it was game 3 and game 4 he played. Then he missed like either 5 and 6 or 6 and 7, and then you guys had a bye week, and then he played ever since.
Yeah, he's caught 16 passes for 257 yards.
On how many targets does it say?
It targets 37.
Yeah. Suspect hands. Now, everybody says, Love does have a strong arm. He can throw the ball down the field to his receivers. Jaden Reed is actually your best wide receiver right now, the rookie that you guys got in the 3rd round, which I thought was a reach at the time because everybody had him projected as a day 4 pick, but he's playing like a 3rd round wide receiver.
Yeah, he's 32 receptions for 463 yards on 51 targets. So Not bad, not bad. But yes, I agree. Let's see. I I have to say thank you to all the guys that are in the chat room. Your Lions have the best team as far as coaches and GM we have ever had, no doubt about it. We have all the right pieces in place.
Amen. I can't argue with that. Green Bay. Oh, that's from somebody trying to post their stream. All right, no problem.
Yes, yes. So I would say the Packers, obviously, they do not have their best coaches in there, but it is what
Uh,
it is.
I think it's more on Joe Barry than anything else. That and the injuries. Uh, I only been calling Matt LaFleur Matt LaFraud for one reason, because he's 1-4 versus Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys say what you want. 4 of those games was at the Hall of Fame quarterback, because Aaron Rodgers will make the Hall of Fame for as many
Right.
NFL MVPs he's won, and the
Yep.
fact that the Packers won a Super Bowl with him, even though that was mostly with a roster that was built for Brett Favre, and his first
Mm-hmm.
year wasn't that great, kind of like this guy's first year.
Right.
That's
Right.
why I say, stymie the trash talk about Jordan Love. He's young and inexperienced. He may get better with time. But then again, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Packers have had 33 years of great quarterback play
Yes.
and 2 Super Bowls to show for it. The other Hall of Famer they had got 2 Super Bowls his first 2 times he went to the Super Bowl. So call it what it is. They've
Mm-hmm.
got 4. We've got none.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say something to all the fan bases out there. If the Bears, the Vikings, or the Packers were 8-2 right now, you guys would be puffing your chest just as much as Lions fans and dogging us out every chance you get. It's our turn.
I hear you. I hear you.
But I haven't even dogged you guys. I've actually give realistic stats. I've given a realistic expectation. Like I said, if everything goes right, we should win by double digits. But this is the NFL, and everything doesn't go right. And any given Sunday, any team can win. We saw
That's
the
right.
Carolina Panthers win a game this year. Hallelujah. I thought they were going over 17. I thought they were going to be the first one to do it.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, as long as I've been a Packer fan, I can't stand obviously Bears fans. And I don't like the the horn in Viking country.
Oh,
I
who
hate that. I hate that. So honestly, I say this truthfully, before I even met my husband, who is from the Detroit area. So obviously he is for the Lions. I've never hated the Lions. Did I ever root for them? Of course not, because I always rooted for the Packers. But I didn't have the disdain or the dislike that I do for like Bears or Vikings, if that makes sense. But like you said,
Oh,
you guys are definitely favored. I don't even know what the spread is.
8 points.
Okay. Okay.
And that's a big spread. And when it's a big spread, the Lions have a tendency not to cover. So I'm not really looking. I'm looking more towards that realistic score, 21-17, 27-21, something like that, because it's a rivalry game. It's Thanksgiving. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's watch some
football,
football.
family. Food, football, family. That's what today's about.
That's what.
Well, we do have another game that's coming up on Saturday that's pretty big in the nation. It's so big that ESPN, ABC, CBS, Fox Sports have all called it the game. Ohio State comes to Ann Arbor to face off again, and both teams are undefeated. Both teams have great defenses. One team has a little bit better of an O-line, and I think a little bit better of running backs. The other team has a better wide receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the quarterbacks, the level of play between them, I mean, lately, J.J. McCarthy hasn't been that good. So you say their level of play is equal. But if you look at their body of work, J.J. McCarthy's done way more with the Michigan wide receivers than what, I don't even remember his name, the quarterback of Ohio State's done with 3 guys that might be NFL wide receivers next year. Emil Ekabar, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
Those guys are great. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is so good, he's being put up there in the top 5 for Heisman voting. And that's mostly because Caleb Williams has kind of had an up and down season. Bo Nix has lost a game here and there. Michael Penix has done the same thing. Drake May, he's on a bad team, but he's a good quarterback. You also, that's why J.J. McCarthy and Marvin Harrison are 1-3 in Heisman voting right now, with J.J. McCarthy in the lead. And if Michigan pulls this off, and I think they've actually been holding him back in the play calling just for this game, so they're not prepared for a passing onslaught. If he wins this game, you might see J.J. McCarthy win the Heisman. He wins the Heisman and Harbaugh's suspended next year, he's going pro. That's what I see.
I could see that. And let's face it, there's a little more juice to this game as well, because it will be the last. Whoever wins will also win the East in the Big Ten, and the divisions are going away in the Big Ten. So this will be the last time you'll have. And let's face it, they'll go to whoever wins this game will go to the Big Ten championship, and they'll go against
Iowa.
Iowa,
because they won last week. And
yes.
Talk about a snoozer of a game this Saturday. Iowa versus Nebraska. The over-under is 26.5 points, and it hasn't moved.
Wow.
So that being said, that is the lowest over-under for any two teams combined score I've ever seen in college football in the modern era of passing football.
Wow. Well, I know Wisconsin plays Minnesota, so it's third against the fifth.
The over-under there is 33.5.
I'm sorry?
The over-under for that one's 33.5. Mm-hmm. But the reason why is Iowa has a fantastic defense and a mediocre offense. Nebraska has mediocre everything. I mean, there's no way to say anything else. I mean, nobody's really high or low on anything, but the Iowa defense is ranked pretty good in the NCAA. I think they're like in the top 20 for defenses, and that they shut teams down. That's why they expect a low-scoring game.
Well, I will say Wisconsin might have their hands full. I know that they're favored, but they are in Minnesota. They are 6-5, so we're already bowl eligible. Minnesota is playing for bowl eligibility because they're 5-6. So this could be a tough game, and we've had some tough growing pains under Luke Fickell this first year. We've had some big injuries though too. Most people don't know that our quarterback has been playing with. He broke his throwing hand. He broke his hand. He's got a not a cast, but he got a pin or something, and he doesn't have the same zip when he's throwing the ball. And of course, our running backs have gotten injured, and Badgers are known for their running backs.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Whoever wins this game gets in a bowl. The loser may not. And the reason why is they will both have the same record, and it'll go off of the last game played outside in conference play. It happens all the time when you have this type of game going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because at 7 wins, Wisconsin's automatic.
Right.
At 6, they're on the bubble for bowl games. And if Minnesota beats Wisconsin, should we have called this Inside Michigan?
Well, we said fire up Wisconsin and Michigan, so it's got both. We did, so.
Yeah, I just like that idea. Inside Michigan or Inside Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Oh, well, let's see. George, thanks. Great show,
Thank you,
Katie and Jeremy. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, George, and your family. And
wow,
Jeremy, any other last thoughts?
Let's enjoy some good football. I want to see a good game. I want the competitive game. I want that lower scoring competitive game because it makes it much more fun to watch. But you know what? If it's a slobber knocker, I'm not going to be mad that I get to go and talk a little smack to other Packer fans. I'm not going to lie, because we've taken it for so many years.
I understand. And
present company excluded, because you've always been very fair with me, and you said, hey, the Lions are coming around. I don't know about this game.
Right. I stopped talking trash quite a while ago.
I don't know why.
Well, because I don't feel the same confidence that I've had before. And let's face it, like we said, any given team can beat. And look at the Broncos. Who would have thought they would have beaten some of the teams they have?
And they beat the hottest winning streak team in the Vikings last week, which now they have the hottest win streak in the NFL. Them and the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Both are on 4-game winning streaks. And who'd have thought the Browns wouldn't have Deshaun Watson or Nick Chubb most of the season and still win games because of their defense. Defense still wins games. Defense wins championships.
Yes.
If the Lions win out and the Browns win out, I'm calling it now. Browns versus Lions Super Bowl.
Wow.
If they both win out. That's a big if.
Right. I hear you.
But with the Browns just signing Joe Flacco yesterday, that adds some stability to the quarterback room. And if you think about the last time he made the playoffs, he had a pretty good run with the Ravens.
He did. Interesting prediction.
I'm just saying if they win out.
I understand.
I'm not saying if they lose games here or there, then it's the crapshoot thing.
Right.
Because if they win out, because of the way the other teams around them have harder schedules, because both of them were not number one seeds in their division, it plays out to their advantage to be the number one seeds and end up playing each other because they both get to skip the first week. They get all home games in their division. And then it's a coin flip for who wins it at the end of the year. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I like it. Well, Jeremy, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't here to trash talk. I was here to talk realistic stats.
Exactly.
Defensively, Lions hold the edge defensively in everything but passing game. And running game controls the game. If you can control another team's run game, you control the clock. If you control the clock, you control the flow of the game, which makes the other team one-dimensional and have to play catch-up.
Well, and let's face it, the Packers are really banged up at running back. So you guys should get us there easily. And that means you guys can focus in on Love, because obviously Love's going to have to throw it more. And who is he throwing it to? And so I predict Hutchinson's going to have a big game then.
I think he is too, but I didn't want to say it.
It's okay. I just hope we hang tough. I mean, I would love to see, a team that has the ball last win it.
Yeah. Who'd have thought that the team that had the ball last would be because of a strip sack safety last week?
Awesome show. Happy Thanksgiving, food, football, family. Have a good day, everyone.
Amen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for those that have tuned in from my Facebook side, from YouTube, from everywhere you are at and around the world. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the football that's played today and enjoy your family more. Hold them close because no day is guaranteed.
So, Jeremy, how can people get a hold of you or watch more your content?
Well, you can see here at Smoking Jeremy on X. You can also find me on Facebook under Jeremy Ballrick. You can find me on the Facebook page, Motor City Kneecap Biters. You can find my writings on the SouthFloridaTribune.com under the Motor City Tribune heading. You can also find me on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, which go over there, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget, look up here in the corner. Scott's got a book coming out, people. I think it is out. It's on Amazon already, right?
It's available on Amazon or Kindle, either one. Yes.
And then you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, where I talk about the NFL, weekly pick'ems, Lions talk, pre-game, post-game, fan cave chat. You name it, I do it.
Awesome. So if you like this broadcast, hit that red subscribe button. You go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. If you want to read, we have quotes from Dan Campbell on there from Lions. We have Jags quotes, Dolphins quotes. We on our YouTube channel, we have Inside the Pigskin, where we have an former NFL player that co-hosts. Scott's on there. We have 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. We have Sports Exchange, Pundits Pundit. We have Fire Up Florida, Fire Up Michigan, Fire Up Wisconsin, just fire up. We have No Limits. We have a plethora of shows. Whatever you like, I'm sure you'll find something that you would enjoy. We would love for you to subscribe. If you like to listen to podcasts, we are available on iHeartRadio, Apple, Google, or wherever you get your podcast. Again, Scott does have a book. That's a picture of the cover. It is available on Amazon or Kindle. Go out there and buy it. It talks about his 40 plus years in the media and how media has changed. So it's a great read. But most importantly, we want everybody to just enjoy family, friends, football, food, Thanksgiving, because we're all blessed. Yes, Smoking Jeremy B.
I want to tell everybody, like I say at the end of my show, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts within here. If you don't fix yourself, you can't fix the world.
So thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thanks for joining us today.